Welcome to the news at Trash Panda Revelry. I'm your Trash Panda news anchor, and I'll be delivering the news each week in kind of a business casual style. And to answer your next question, yes, these are the kind of super high production values that you can expect here at Trash Panda Revelry. But just to note, these newscasts will usually be around the end of the week each week, probably Friday or Saturday. All right, to the news! Hotel guests in Tibet actually awoke to find a bear in their hotel room. After a bit of awkward staring, the bear just eventually wandered out of the room. And to be fair, many South Beach subreddit users confirmed that a bit of awkward staring is in fact the easiest way to get a bear out of your hotel room in the morning. The hotel owners eventually chased all of the bears out of the hotel with flashlights and announced that they plan to install more robust security measures as seen here. In other news, director Wes Anderson and actor Luke Wilson reportedly got stuck in an elevator. Narration ensued. Donald Trump's limited edition Patriot Passport was officially released this week. Just for those of us who have ever thought, man, my passport would be so much better if I had a picture of my crazy as hell uncle on there. In other news this week, the US men's soccer team, before their eventual loss to Belgium, had a red card reversed after President Trump called and leaned on the FIFA president. The FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, lived up to his name and quickly folded like a collapsible baby stroller. Trump this week also pardoned a number of people who were being prosecuted for trying to defeat and disable emissions controls on vehicles. Trump, as we know, is in favor of circumventing any controls on air pollution, which is also how he ended up on Truth Social. It's been reported recently that US companies are complaining about Chinese companies copying their AI technology. Most Chinese companies have responded by saying, we're not doing that, plus pretty soon AI is going to be copying itself, so then we're going to be the least of your problems. In other news, French courts have confirmed right-wing leader Marine Le Pen's conviction on embezzlement charges, but also cleared the way for her to run again for president next year. To put my expert French language skills to work, the court essentially said, Le Pen, although Le Pew, can be Le Prez. And because we usually cover the past weekend when we do News of the Week, here are some July 4th celebration news stories. Americans on July 4th weekend endured a scorching and record-setting heat wave, with the majority of climate scientists once again determining that temperatures would likely not be getting this high without unmitigated human-caused global warming. At Trump's Great American State Fair, though, there was disagreement on this, and whether perhaps chemtrails played a part in the climate or the weather. There was a consensus, though, that at least one factor was definitely to blame: gays. There were also some severe thunderstorms on July 4th. Which for a time forced many of President Trump's Salute to America attendees into federal buildings for shelter, including the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Those who did not avert their eyes soon enough discovered that African Americans actually arrived in the United States not by magical ferry, but in fact by an entirely different kind of ferry. But yeah, I'm sure slavery wasn't so bad. Unfortunately, there's no racism whatsoever or socioeconomic effects left over from enslaving people for 400 years, which is why cities like Washington, D.C. look like this. Pope Leo spent this July 4th urging Americans to accept struggling immigrants with generosity and compassion. Conservatives responded to the suggestion by looking for ways to possibly strip the Pope of birthright citizenship. And finally, during New York's July 4th fireworks festivities, the Brooklyn Bridge actually caught on fire for a short time. The New York Fire Department arrived on the scene after responding to a call from a certain New Yorker who said, this bridge is on fire." Who wrote that joke? My sincere apologies to said New Yorker. But that's all the news for the week. See you next time.